Yeah, yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated. Yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated. We the one. We the one. Yeah, out of the darkness I rose up. Golden my soul, it's a gold rush. Yeah, yeah. Honor and freedom, I toast up. Kicking game on the snare drum. Hard on the beat, let it bleed out like sacrifices. Cut it open, emotions. Spilling like oil and coasting. Therapy for my mental, I'm pinning a pistol and shoot down the criticisms. Individually, I heard the voices that told us. Yeah, yeah. Throw dirt on my name and wish me the worst and scold us, yeah. Shot through the heart and pray on my downfall. But Young T prevailed on my outlaw. Stand on top of the table like John Wall. Got the cross on my chest like Olympic gold. Rap it smooth on the field like a jazz song. Witness greatness, look up in LeBron home. Remember next time for you doubt us. That only made me go John Jones. HGH, I got the shortcut. God on my side, you got bad luck. Look at how they all doubt us, yeah, they doubt us, yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated, yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated, we the ones, yeah, yeah. We the ones, we the ones, yeah, yeah. We the ones, yeah, yeah.
I was just a sentimental kid with a little bit of attention deficit. Hyperactive disorder, always out of order. I never had a chance though.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Los Angeles Kings.
Welcome back, Kings fans. I am Jesse Cohen. She is Carlin Bate, and this is Tape to Tape. Carlin, before we jump into it, I'm going to ask you the same question I ask you every week. Are you ready for it?
Do I like leftover pizza?
No. Do you love the LA Kings?
Absolutely.
Well, here's your chance to prove it, Carlin, because Mercury Insurance is on the hunt for Kings superfans. You can go to mercuryinsurance.com/Kings to learn how you can win some great prizes and show the world you're the ultimate Kings superfan. The Mercury Superfan promotion is live now through May, extended past the original March 15th date. You can submit images or videos on Instagram or Twitter, or go to mercuryinsurance.com/Kings. Multiple weekly winners will be chosen at random to receive prizes such as LA Kings merchandise, autographed memorabilia, and virtual meet and greets with a player. 8 lucky finalists will be selected by Mercury to move on to the finals bracket, where fans will vote to decide who will be crowned the grand prize winner and ultimate LA Kings superfan. That one grand prize winner will receive a luxury box at home, which includes a 55-inch Toshiba 4K Ultra HD Fire TV, 4 Adidas Silver Team signed jerseys, a $500 Blaze Pizza gift card, presumably without cranberry sauce on it, $500 McDonald's Arch card, a McDonald's Superfan Game Day meal, which includes favorites like Chicken McNuggets, Big Mac sandwiches, world famous fries, and McFlurries, which we all got just recently, and a ton of other McDonald's swag. So, Carlin, although I think you and I are probably ineligible, we encourage all Kings fans to go to mercuryinsurance.com/Kings and try and become this year's LA Kings superfan. Best of luck to all of them.
Just listening to that.
Yeah.
We already won.
Thanks. But as I said, everybody did win a free McFlurry. So if you don't already have the McDonald's app, go ahead and download that, and you can figure out how to collect on your free McFlurry, because the Kings did score in the final minute of the second period. It was nice to see. But Carlin, we're going to start off this week's show with a Would You Rather, and I already know the answer to it, but I'm going to ask you now.
Okay.
Would you rather have the COVID-19 vaccination, or would you rather not?
What? Oh gosh. I mean, that's a big question to ask. I want everybody to do what's best for them, and I want to, create herd immunity, I guess. Yes,
well,
on the spot.
I have my first shot. That's really just a backdoor way for me to brag about the fact that I got my first shot this morning.
Let's go.
pretty happy about it. And so I would encourage everybody to start looking into how you can do that in your neighborhood. Bob Miller did it. I did it. You can do it too. So
Absolutely.
that's what you should do. But we're going to get the King of the Week out of the way early this week, Carlin, because we want to focus on the rain and the NCAA tournament that starts this week. We're going to do a sort of futures episode, but we can't have a week without crowning a King of the Week. And so this week, no surprise, with 2 goals and 1 assist, Alex Iafallo. We have his goals here that we're going to look at while we talk about him. So congratulations, Alex Iafallo. I thought Iafallo played great. I mean, he plays great all the time, but I thought he looked particularly energized. I thought he did a great job. You can see there his goal right there against Vegas, which was important timing. And just like I said, I think I said it on Twitter, he's had himself a heck of a game, had himself a heck of a week.
Absolutely. And he's the reason why we got the McFlurry minute the other day.
That's right.
So double kudos to Alex Iafallo. But yeah, he's always the secret weapon to Kopitar's line, I feel like, because, lots of people are aware of what Brownie and Kopi are able to do. And then when you see Alex get rewarded, it's just like, of course, another superstar is on that line as well. So definitely deserves the King of the Week this week. And it's someone that people should keep an extra eye on, because I feel like maybe the other two get a lot of the spotlight. And when you see what he's capable of, it's truly magical, Jesse.
Yeah, and I think he was the McDonald's Player of the Month like 5 times last year or something like that. Picks us up a McFlurry, and like I said, this week, King of the Week. So congratulations to Alex Iafallo. Now, we do want to shift our attention down to Ontario. I know a lot of people have been making a lot of noise about the goings-on in Ontario, but listen, they're 5-2 in their last 7 games, and there was a lot of consternation from the fans about what was happening in the first month of the season, or the first few weeks of the season anyway. They weren't winning games. They were getting scored on a ton. And Coach Wroblewski and, Rob Blake and Rich Seeley and everybody involved with putting that team together kept saying, this is a work in progress. You can't judge on the first 5 games. There's a bunch of, they are babies. They are 18,
They're
19, 20 years old.
Yes.
I think the leading scorers, the 7 leading scorers on the team, are all 25 and under, and only one of those guys is 25. The rest of them are basically 19 and 20, and Byfield
and
18.
youngers.
Yeah, exactly. The and youngers. That's right. And Quentin Byfield himself is just a few months over 18. But 5-2, and like I said on Twitter the other night, scoring 3 goals a game in their last 7 games. And some of those games they've scored 4, 5, or even 6 goals. But Akil Thomas is helping lead the way, not just Quentin Byfield, not just Alex Turcotte, Arthur Kelly, of all these names. The Reign, they lost one game 8-6, where I believe it was Bakersfield scored 5 goals on them in the 3rd period. They entered the 3rd period up 6-3. They looked incredible for the first 40 minutes. And then Bakersfield scored 5 goals on them in the 3rd. But then the following game, they were down, and it was looking like they were going to lose again. And Akil Thomas, out of nowhere, scored a hat trick in like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, something like that. Some incredible short period of time. And let's go ahead and take a look at Akil Thomas's hat trick.
Circle, Byfield, try to go back across the green. That one knocked down. Loose puck, and that one rifled home. Top of the right dot, 6-on-5 for Ontario, down by 2. To the corner for Byfield, back up top. Thomas in the slot, right half wall looking. Byfield to the slot, shot and a score! Ontario has pulled within 1. Benson coming down the wall. McLeod there to the slot, a shot and a save. Rebound, scores! Ontario has tied it at 4 apiece with 22.9 to go in the 3rd. Here's Akil Thomas, a hat trick in the final 3:07. He'll be the first shooter for Ontario. Thomas over the blue line, right-handed shot, left circle, walking, shooting, and scores!
There you go. I should have pointed out he wasn't done by scoring the hat trick. He also scored in the shootout. Just an incredible performance from him. And, I spoke to Coach Wroblewski after that game, and I asked him, he had some high praise for Akil Thomas previously, and I just wondered, like, can you, as a coach, when you're down 4-1, can you feel good about a game that you win in the shootout based off of one individual just having a truly amazing performance in a short period of time? And Wroblewski pointed out that his goals were not individual efforts. They came as a result of crisp passing, team performance. And so, yes, Akil Thomas had to be the one to pull the trigger and get the accolades for the goals, but it came as a result of team play. Obviously, his goal on the shootout, though, not team play, just Akil Thomas coming through in a big moment. So were impressed, very impressed to see that.
He's fun to watch.
He is.
Honestly,
that is true.
That was unbelievable and good for him. He's just crushing it, Jesse. This is just the beginning too of his career, which is even more exciting to think about.
And that night, of course, was the night that everybody was raving on social media about the line of Akil Thomas, Quentin Byfield, and Devante Smith-Pelly, the first time that 3 black players had played on a line in professional hockey in decades, many, many decades. And now we are going to go ahead and bring you our conversation with Devante Smith-Pelly, the third member of that line, in just a moment.
Velarde to Carter now. And Carter. Tic-tac-toe, Velarde. That shot altered by an Avalanche stick. They score!
Joining us now from the Ontario Reign, Devante Smith-Pelly. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Excellent, thank you. Now, you've got a Stanley Cup ring on one hand and tons of experience at the pro game. So I'm just curious real quick, how did you wind up with the Ontario Reign?
I was just at home, training, skating. Obviously my agent is calling around, seeing what's available. And, one day he said, maybe Ontario might work. They called and inquired. And then, 2 days later or 3 days later, I was on a plane. So it came together pretty quickly, and I'm glad it did.
A lot of younger players on the Reign. Did the coaching staff or the GM talk to you about the role that you'd be expected to play given the youth of the team?
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit. Obviously looking at the roster, it's extremely young. I'm probably like the 4th oldest guy, which is kind of crazy to me. So, I mean, I've been around, I've seen it all on and off the ice. So, they kind of told me just if I can help out in any way and getting these guys, adjusted to pro hockey and stuff like that, that would be great. So I'm trying to, not get in their way and be their dad or anything like that, but just
I have to ask this question. I know everybody asks this, but going from the KHL back to the AHL, the size of the ice, you're playing on Olympic size ice out when you're playing with the KHL, NHL size ice, with the AHL. What's the biggest difference to you? And do you notice your conditioning's maybe better now that you're coming from that?
So the thing that not many people, I don't think, know about the KHL is that, some rinks are Olympic, some are NHL, and some are hybrids. So, our home rink in Beijing was Olympic ice, and then we would go to Russia and play on NHL ice, which was kind of weird. So
yeah,
I feel like I didn't really lose, sense of that NHL ice. But the Olympic ice, the walls are way out there compared to what I was used to going over there. So it was a lot more skating and something I got used to, but and then we would leave and go play on NHL ice. So it was a little weird that way, but I think at this point I can play on any ice. I've played on it. I played on it all. So
love that.
You Sunday night, I believe it was, you play on a line with Akil Thomas and Quentin Byfield. And it quickly goes around social media that this is the first professional line first line in professional hockey, featuring 3 black players since I believe the 40s, the Black Aces. I'm curious if you were aware of that going into the game, if anybody had talked to you about it, or if it was something that just happened and then the rest of the world noticed.
I wasn't aware of it. I mean, me and Akil were talking about it before, and I was asking if he had ever heard of a line like that, and I was trying to think, and I hadn't seen it. He wasn't sure either, so we were surprised that it got so big in the outside world. I mean, I think the line was just kind of put together. It wasn't gimmick or anything. We all had no idea. We were just a line, and we just went out there to play. And when we got off the ice, we kind of saw that the reaction was making its way around, the internet and stuff. But looking back, I think it's something pretty cool to be a part of. I hadn't really thought about it before, but I am happy to be a part of it, and it's an honor.
What were you three kind of discussing after you realized, the impact that you had made across the league, across, the nation and beyond? After it resonated with you all, what were some of the conversations that you had?
Honestly, we were just talking about it was just cool to be a part of. Our respective social medias were going insane for a couple of days there, and the one thing we were just saying, that's pretty cool, and it was just something really, really cool to be a part of. We didn't get too deep about it or anything like that, but I think all three of us were honored, and those two had amazing games to cap it off too. So it wasn't just us three skating around or anything like that. Those guys had
Keel Thomas is not a small guy, but Quentin Byfield is legitimately huge. What are the differences in their games that you can see so far from playing with them for a handful of games?
Both extremely skilled. Obviously, like you said, the size difference. So, Cusa is a massive. He's a kid. He's a massive kid. Who once he figures out how strong he is and how fast he is as well, he's gonna be a star. He's gonna be a star for sure. And Akil, extremely hard worker, extremely dedicated to his craft. I'm his roommate. He's stretching in the room. He's rolling out in the room. He's nonstop working on his craft, which is something that, when I was 20, I didn't see anyone my age doing that. I wasn't doing it like that. So that's going to help him. And they're both going to be really, really good NHL players.
You said you guys are roommates.
Yeah.
What's the quirkiest thing about him? What does he have, like a certain cereal he's always eating, or are you guys is one person better at laundry than the other? Like what are some quirks you found out about one another?
Well, this is just roommates on the road, so he's got a lot of off ice ventures. He's always on the phone, which is fine with me. The only thing that I was surprised by is how cold he likes the room.
He freezes it like an icebox. Okay.
I just let him do his own thing. I don't want to control anything. I want him to be ready to go the next day. So I just battle it out and freeze.
Gotta get you an extra blanket.
Besides that, no, he's been great. We're both pretty chill, calm guys, so we get along great.
I'm assuming you don't travel with your Stanley Cup ring, but have the guys on the team asked you what it was like? Do they want to see it? Do they bug you for stories about what it's like making it that far?
Yeah, no one's asked to see the ring, but a lot of guys have asked about that whole playoff run, that whole season. Guys know that it was in Vegas, so they want to hear stories about the celebration and stuff like that. But, a lot of guys have inquired, and I'm happy to tell all those stories from the celebration on and stuff like that.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that.
Yeah.
Good.
You had some pretty big goals during that run, and you had 7 of them, which is nothing to sneeze at. I'm curious, do you think that sort of performance under pressure is something that you can help other players understand how to do themselves, or do you think that you have to have it in you already and just be given the chance to show it?
I think everyone can unlock that. Some guys are just built a little different, where they need someone to tell them to relax, or they need someone to get on them. Maybe they need a kick in the butt. I don't know. I think everyone can unlock it. So I think it's just about finding what somebody needs. For me, I don't know. I just really like playing in the playoffs. And that's always just kind of been my thing going back to junior. And there were other guys I play with where, sometimes you just need to talk to them, tell them, just to relax. And then that kind of chills them out, and they go out there and do it. So I think it's just about finding, what each guy's thing is and kind of unlocking that.
Last one from me. How do you like your game so far in your time with Ontario?
I think I've been all right. I think legs wise and lungs wise, I've been pretty good. I haven't played in a calendar year, so that's kind of tough. But I was training hard. I was skating a lot. So skating wise and lungs, I feel good. It's just timing. I mean, there's a numbers restriction in Toronto, so it's not like I've been skating 5-on-5. I've been doing, 3-on-3 at the most for the majority of this, full calendar year. So it's just about figuring out full game speed and situations that I haven't seen in a full year. But the timing will eventually come back with more just repetition. But other than that, I think, I've been, not hurting the team. So I'm trying to do my best. The coaching staff, the training staff's been amazing and kind of helping me along and making sure that, I don't get hurt or anything like that. But once the timing comes back, I think everything will be good.
All right. Well, the team's on a bit of a hot streak. Looks good. Everything appears to be going well. So we wish you the best of luck moving forward.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
That was Devante Smith-Pelly. We appreciate his time with us talking about that line of Quinton Byfield, Akil Thomas, and Devante Smith-Pelly. And when it comes to a starting lineup, Carlin, everybody loves the starter from Jack Black. Loaded with the superior skincare that the pros love, LA Kings fans can get the starter for just $10, shipping included. Available exclusively at getjackblack.com with the code TEAMJB. The starter has 4 of Jack Black's best-selling skincare and shave products, plus a full-size intense therapy lip balm. That's SPF 25, don't you know, in natural mint. Here's to the winning combination of the LA Kings and the starter from Jack Black. That's $10 plus free shipping, available at getjackblack.com with the code TEAMJB while supplies last.
What a deal.
It is a deal. And listen, I'm a fan of mint, and listen, natural mint lip balm, I'm on board. I'm going to get that while supplies last. We heard from Devante Smith-Pelly about that line, but we also heard from Akil Thomas. We saw him score that hat trick earlier and then score in the shootout, but he also spoke to the media earlier this week about the importance of that night and the importance of that game. And we take you now to those comments from Akil Thomas.
Two-part question. First of all, thanks for doing this. How does it feel with this accomplishment? And second of all, when did you find out that you all are going to be put together on one line?
I think we like the schedule or the schedule and the lineup kind of got posted in our little group kind of in the morning. So as soon as I saw it, I texted my dad and called me, of course, and just know. And I mean, yeah, the accomplishment was unreal. It was a crazy game. Definitely did not expect that to happen, and obviously to get my first hat trick and to obviously get the win, it was just like the best feeling, just because the game kind of felt like it was out of reach for quite some time. So it was just an unbelievable game. It was really good feeling to walk out of that rink.
That was Akil Thomas talking to the assembled national media, and you can watch the rest of that appearance across the Kings' social media channels, YouTube. You can watch the entire thing. There were some great questions and some great answers, and we've heard, as we said earlier, from Coach Wroblewski about what an impressive young man Akil Thomas is. Another impressive young man is John Hoven, a.k.a. The Manor, here to talk to us about the NCAA tournament. How you doing, young man?
I'm doing great, Jess. How are you? And Carlin, always good to see you.
Good to see you.
So listen, we talked about the rain already, and now we're going to talk about the NCAA tournament. Only 2 Kings prospects in the tournament this year. But John, when do Kings fans have to pay attention, and who should they pay attention to?
Well, from a Kings perspective, as of right now, they want to be paying attention on Saturday. The tournament starts on Friday. There are some good games there. We can talk about maybe some of the college free agents, but on Saturday, you're talking about the King. From a Kings prospect perspective, you're talking about David Rennick in goal for St. Cloud. Sorry about that. I was thinking Brock Faber, and it wasn't clicking with me.
I thought you got a funny text message or something. I was like, is he going to share with the class?
it was Hammer offering to send me more of those orange flannels that I keep telling him no about. No, it was sorry. Wow, I'll be paying for that one. But no, you have St. Cloud State. They're taking on. They're in a really tough side of the bracket. St. Cloud State has to first go up against Boston University, and then if they're able to get by BU, then they have Boston College in the next round, which is really the number one seed coming in, or the number one team in the country, I should say. So their road to the Frozen Four is a very difficult one. But if they can get past those two teams somehow, then you would see David Rennick there in the Frozen Four. Once again, St. Cloud, one of the top teams in the country during his time there with the Huskies. The challenge has been that no matter how good the Huskies have been in the regular season over the last couple of years, they seem to always fall a little bit short in the actual playoffs and in the tournament. And of course, the other thing is Rennick's playing for a contract. The Kings are going to have to make a decision on him once his season is over. Do they go ahead and sign him, or do they just move on and relinquish their rights to David Rennick? I would say that he has to have a huge tournament in order to secure a contract with the Kings when you look at their pipeline on the goaltending side. And the other prospect who's in, of course, would be Brock Faber. Fortunately, although they're in the same side of the bracket, they both can advance into the Frozen Four by winning 2 games. So the Kings could have representation from 2 groups. This Minnesota team that he's part of is sort of a sleeper among the group. Everybody's talking about Boston College. Everybody's talking about North Dakota as the 2 top teams in the country coming into the tournament. But Minnesota was ranked number 1 for a large portion of the year, kind of prior to World Juniors. And then they had a bunch of their guys go to the World Juniors, not only Brock Faber, but also Ryan Johnson and several others. And when they came back after the new year, after the World Juniors, they weren't really in sync as much as they needed to be. But just over the last couple of weeks of the season, they seem to get things going again. Minnesota is already the number 1 sort of favorite for next season to win the championship. And I don't think Brock Faber will be coming out as a freshman and signing with the Kings. The expectation is he's going to go back next year. But this is an opportunity to see one of the real stars coming up on the LA Kings blue line. Of course, they drafted him in the 2nd round last year. Everybody should be tuned in and watching the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
John, you're talking about 2 Kings prospects to keep an eye on, right? But if you were to tell fans to put their scouting hats on and take a look at the rest of the pool there, what players should fans be taking a look at that could possibly come across the Kings' radar maybe in the future?
Well, for sure, because you have 2 things in play right now. There are some players that would be considered for the 2021 NHL draft. But not only that, the Kings have dipped into college free agency a number of times and had quite a bit of success there, not only with Alex Iafallo and a bunch of other players, but a couple of names to keep an eye on. This is a player the Kings certainly have on their radar. There are 3 guys they're targeting right now. We have a big story up on mayorsmanor.com. People can read that if the Kings were to dip their foot into college free agency this year. Of those 3 players, one of them on the University of North Dakota, Matt Kierstead. He's a senior defenseman. The thing to keep in mind is that he is really the number 1 guy in the college free agent group. So it's not like the Kings are trying to swoop in and sign him before other teams, find out about him. There's probably 15 to 20 NHL teams that could offer him a contract. He's that much of a sought after player right now. But the Kings are interested in him. North Dakota is always a great team. Matt Green will be watching that game, of course, so you can keep an eye on that. And then you have Matt Hardman, who is with Boston College. He's a sophomore. He's a forward. He's a big kid. He can score, and he would add a real nice dimension for the LA Kings if they were able to sign him as a college free agent. There's another player they're interested in as well, Dennis Cesara, but he has already been eliminated with Michigan State. He's not going to be part of the tournament. So keep an eye on North Dakota. Keep an eye on Boston College. Just probably don't be cheering on Boston College if they are playing St. Cloud because you're looking for David Rennick to advance.
There we go.
Any predictions, John, as to who's going to come away with the whole thing?
It's such a tough question, Jesse. It's a great question. You'd love to see a team like Minnesota with all of that. I mean, they have all the components to it. They have youth. They have experience. They have some speed with Brock Faber. They have a great goaltender in net as well. I think Minnesota's probably a year away from doing it. North Dakota is the favorite going in. And, I don't want Matt Green on my bad side. So I'm going to go with North Dakota. We'll go with the Fighting Hawks taking things home this year.
And I should know the answer to this, but real quick, Brock Faber is still eligible for the WJC this coming year, right?
Exactly. So Brock Faber would go back for his sophomore year, and then he would star again for Team USA. And, he was already promoted to the top pairing there defensively last year. So you'd have to expect Brock Faber to be one of the anchors, maybe even wear a letter for Team USA at the World Junior Championships, which, of course, will kick off just after Christmas. It'll be here before we know it, guys.
Well, you're always wearing a letter for us, John. We appreciate it. No Kings hockey until Monday, so Kings fans, do check out the NCAA tournament. Check out that article on Mayor's Manor about those players that may wind up at least being sought after by the Kings, if not in a Kings uniform. Carlin, thanks as always for joining us.
Of course. Thank
John,
you, John, for
thank
being
you.
here.
That's right. Thanks to producer
See you guys.
Chris. Thanks to everybody behind the scenes with the Kings that makes this happen. Thanks to Jack Black. Thanks to Mercury Insurance. Thanks to everybody watching at home. I am Jesse Cohen. He's John Hoven. She's Carlin Baith. And we will talk to you next week.